ComixWatch. ComixWatch. ComixWatch.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of ComixWatch. I am the mad James Howlett, and here with me is the dog himself, Jared from Comics League. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself?
You know, I wonder what's the one story that's never been told?
It certainly hasn't been told in a pretty movie.
Oh god! All right, everybody's dead now. All right, so we are talking this week about Origins Wolverine, a story,
or as it's actually called in the comic, Wolverine-Origin.
Is that what mine says?
Oh wow! That's funny. I didn't know they changed it. All right.
So Jared, do you want to tell the backstory of this?
Yeah.
Story?
So what happened is that this was around the time that those X-Men Origin movies were supposed to actually be like origins for like Magneto and Wolverine. But Marvel Comics was like, we can't let the movie people do the origin for Wolverine first. So quick, put out the comic. And it was pretty much this.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the whole reason we have She-Hulk is because they were doing like the Hulk TV show, the one Lou Ferrigno, and the producers talking about doing a She-Hulk show. So Marvel rushed out the comic She-Hulk so that they could just secure the rights for that character before the TV show.
That's hilarious. I love that. And then the actual She-Hulk TV show would turn out to be crappy, but okay.
Well, that's a story for another story. I don't know. I'm feeling stupid today. I'm feeling stupid. And Kincaid's
Don't worry, it's just your old age showing.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, this was a really great story. We have like the forward written by the producer of the X-Men series. Wait, why am I showing the book when I have this on display?
Yes. So what's cool about this that this is drawn by Paul Jenkins, a prolific Marvel writer, and then drawn by Andy Kubert.
Literally the person who founded the school of comic drawing.
Yeah. So in case you guys want a little more reminder about what this guy has drawn, Dark Knight 3, The Master Race. He's drawn a lot of really high budget stuff. Now with this, what's kind of cool about this, hang on, I gotta move this, and for some reason Marvel always has it in guided view, and I don't want that. So what's cool here is that, so first off, so his artwork in this is actually really interesting because it's very scratchy, and it seems very much like an old-timey movie.
It's scratchy.
Oh yeah, that actually works. There you go. So we see the Howlett estate built. It's kind of like a city on a hill when you think about it.
The shining city on the hill.
Almost like America.
Jared gets that reference.
Yes, I do. So then we have this girl named Rose, and she's arriving at the Howlett estate. She's going to live with them and be a playmate for their son, James Howlett. And then we see this Wolverine-looking dude just trimming the hedges with blades.
Oh God, sorry, my mind. When you say,
I know the way your mind goes.
Also, can I just say, I understand why Logan likes redheads.
Yeah, that's the thing. Reading this book, when I actually first read it for the very first time, I was like, so Wolverine has had a significant redhead in every stage of his life, pretty much. Is that what you're telling me?
It's almost like he has a thing.
He probably does. So she meets James, and I love how, like, she's like, oh, I like your hair. She goes, oh, aren't you the sweetest thing? And then she throws dirt at her and just runs away. I love that. So she meets the Howlett family, and it's your typical late 1800s or like early 1700s family.
Oh, the caveat's 5 minutes late today. I'm going to flog the chef again.
Then we see our good friend James Howlett with his childhood friend named Dog. Now here's the
Is he
thing.
a bounty hunter?
Yeah, the movie kind of changed this because Dog was replaced by Sabretooth in the movie.
I'm just gonna say this. I actually kind of like the idea of Sabretooth and Wolverine being brothers.
Yeah.
Because it makes the rivalry a little bit more interesting. Like the fact that they've like followed each other through history and whatnot.
And then if you notice what Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine kind of does, this is one of the good things it does. It shows that Sabretooth's hatred of Wolverine is just jealousy. Because remember, he wanted the adamantium, but he couldn't survive the process.
Yeah, I mean, it's more to it than that, but yeah, that's certainly part of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what Stryker said, and then that's all we know from the movie. But
I mean, a little bit of a tangent here. My theory is Stryker's actually lying to Sabretooth because at the time Logan was a test subject. They didn't even know if he'd survive. And Sabretooth is kind of like his most loyal soldier. So he didn't want to lose Sabretooth in procedure, so that's why he lied to him like that.
Oh, okay. That works. So then time passes, and we see like so basically there's a narrator throughout the entire book who will be revealed later in the story. And then we see again the groundskeeper who looks oddly like Wolverine. And for anyone that hasn't read the book, he's not Wolverine. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not actually Logan, but I'm highlighting the way he looks like Wolverine for a very specific reason.
Also, spoiler alert, in the movie they explicitly state that the boy is his father. In this novel, they just heavily hint at it. They don't go outright. Like, we'll see later, but we'll touch on more stuff later, but I'm just going to say that for right now.
Yeah, exactly. So then, basically, Dog is like all alone while James hangs out with Rose, and so they're all still friends. They're playing in the creek. A lot of this, the reason why I'm skimming through this is because a lot of this is like just kids playing. So I'm just like, all right, there. And then we learn a little bit. So what's interesting is like so James falls in like the ocean, falls in the stream and kind of gets washed away, but he's saved. But then again, James's grandfather basically is more overbearing than his father. He's like, what? You're not giving them a punishment because of this? Or something like that, because they weren't careful. And then it's heavily implied that Dog's father basically beats him up. By the way, if that isn't the most Wolverine image you've ever seen, that is so a Wolverine image.
Yeah, I mean, plaid shirt, the mutton chops, the hair, the bottle of booze.
All he needs is like one hand up and his claws coming out. Again, not Wolverine.
No, middle claw.
Yeah, not Wolverine. I just wanted to highlight that because it looks like it. So more time passes by, and they're going for a walk, and they see. So basically, this is supposed to show that time is passing.
I love that maze shot. Like, that is just beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. I meant it's Andy Kubert's art. What do you expect? And then,
God, I wouldn't give to have him draw a comic for me.
That would be hilarious. Him drawing Screecher. That would be great.
Oh God, can you just imagine that?
Imagine Rose, but Screecher. That could actually work really well. So, and I before you say anything, I would love for him to draw Athena because he's drawn Wonder Woman so well.
Maybe you could have him do a cover job at some point.
Yeah. And so this is again where it's like implied that like Dog's father Logan is a drunk. I have to. Again, this book makes you think that's Wolverine, but it's not.
Yeah, but I will say this book does a really good job of explaining all the little things like, oh, why does he go by Logan? Because some drunken a-hole who he kind of looks like.
Yeah, I'm like, well, he looks like it for a very specific reason, but more on that later. So then that's the end of issue 1. And again, the art in this is superb. I mean, of course, it's Andy Kubert. I like the writing. I also like how... So, I'm not going to bury leader. James is a Wolverine. But I like how he starts off. You would never expect this kid being Wolverine. He's so innocent.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And the thing you got to realize about mutants is, they were very rare pre-World War II.
yeah,
Because X-Men are sometimes called the children of the atom. And I'll tell you when I'm ready for issue 2, Jerry. Just let you know.
yeah, okay.
Sometimes called children of the atom. And the reason for that is after the atomic bomb testing and the dropping in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that led to an explosion of mutants, but they did exist beforehand. I mean, heck, Apocalypse. Sorry, I was thinking of the movie thing. Evolution leaps forward.
Well, then you also have, Apocalypse was the first. They always go back and forth on if Apocalypse or Namor the Submariner were the first mutant.
It depends on who they want to promote that week, I guess.
Which I'm like, Wolverine, can you go stab Namor in the face, please? I hate that character.
But
yeah, go ahead.
But before we move on to the second issue, I have some shilling I want to do. So, as I always say, we record this on a Monday and release it on a Wednesday, when we're born on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But at this time, Lost Kingdom is over $1,000.
Nice.
Really close to $1,100. $9 away from $1,100. So we are in week 2 currently. We have 20 days left to go. And I just gotta say, week 1, getting 2/3 of the way there, you guys are freaking awesome. So I'm very confident in this book. This book will probably be funded. We're already almost like three-quarters of the way there, or almost 75% funded. So let's keep this ball rolling. I mean, who knows? By the time this goes live, it could be even higher. I'm hoping for it. But Lost Kingdom is my sci-fi fantasy novel that I currently have on Kickstarter. This super wonderful friend here has grabbed himself a copy. And we're going to be releasing this next year because the first draft is done, but we still need to edit it. And back to the project if you can. If you have already, you are awesome. So let's return to our regularly scheduled Wolverine.
First off, I love that cover with the bone claws coming out of his hand, the
blood.
God damn.
See 2000s comic art I find really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the colors did a lot of the colors did a lot of the heavy lifting in this era.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
in a way, they still kind of do.
Perhaps, but in this era, a lot of comics had almost like a painting quality to them, and that's because of, like, the colors were really doing a lot of the detail work in 2000s comics. Like, you see it goes all the way back, like, the Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man comics, kind of all throughout the 2000s. You see this kind of style of art. I like it, personally. But it's something that's very distinctly 2000s that we really haven't talked about much. But I wanted to acknowledge real quick.
Sweet. So then time passes by, and basically we see it's essentially life passes by. So as we continue on, and by the way, a lot of this is like fantastic Andy Kubert art. Then we see some claw marks on James's mother.
All right, zoom in and Hans.
Oh, hang on. Okay, here we go.
So that kind of raises some questions. So, all right, let's all right. This is a part where we're gonna cap the spoiler cap here. It's pretty clear she's sleeping with Logan.
Yeah, it's pretty clear with the claws and all that.
I think it's pretty clear that Logan himself, I'm surprised they've never done a story because it's pretty clear that James inherited some of Logan's powers, if not all of them. So,
what makes you think Logan had powers?
Those are obviously claw marks.
But you don't necessarily. Maybe he had really sharp nails. You saw the dude. He looks grungy.
All right, zoom in. Can you zoom in a little more, please, if you can? The space of the claw marks, they're very, and there's 3 of them. It's very clearly meant to be Wolverine's claws. I mean, come on, if this was like, actual stuff, it would have been 4.
Not necessarily, but the other thing that kind of doesn't convince me is that there's never any indicator or teaser or anything like that Logan has powers.
I mean, they very deliberately made James look like Logan.
No. That is different because genetics, yeah, you would look like your father. Yeah, that's different. But I'm saying in terms of in terms of Logan having powers, I'm not convinced about that.
Okay, so what we have here is we have an A plus B equals C scenario. Okay, James looks like Logan. Okay. Or Logan looks like the stereotypical Wolverine. That is A. B is what we have here, where we have something that obviously looks like Wolverine's claw marks. It's obviously meant to be that because it's meant to be like, oh hey, so like, and so who gave the claw marks? Could have been the father. It could have been, but you have this guy that very clearly looks like him. A plus B equals C.
Or maybe he's just abusive. Back then, dude. I'm saying I'm still not convinced because there's no other indicator short of this.
Because
remember.
Okay, so in this context, we're agreeing Logan is the father, James is the son. Well,
yeah.
And
remember on this, dude, Logan is a drunk in this book. An abusive drunk to his son.
Okay, let's pretend that James is not Logan's son. If James is actually... See, the fact that James is his son is what allows him to be abusive and get away with it. Because if he was this abusive to the wife of the owner, he'd be gone and probably dead. But because he has the secret, like, oh, James is not actually his son, he could reveal that. He's got a little bit of a blackmail on her.
No, I'm agreeing with you that Logan is James's father. I'm just saying there's nothing short of the claw, short of that, but that has other explanations. Because again,
it's meant to be another piece of evidence because we as a reader, we see Logan. He very clearly looks like this. Like they went out of their way to make him look like the stereotypical.
What I'm saying is, let me put it this way. I look like my dad doesn't mean I'm going to get powers. That's a different thing, dude. That genetics is different than this genetics. And we just said mutants were even rarer back then. By this logic, they should be more, like, plentiful at this point.
But the point is, those are obviously 3 claw marks. Those are obviously meant to represent Logan's bone claws or whatever.
Not bone claws, because remember, Logan doesn't have bone claws. Because if he did, there's a very specific moment when they would have popped out. And I'll show you when we get to that point, because there's a specific point where I'm like, if he had bone claws, why didn't he pop them here? So anyway, continuing on. So she sees an abused wife. Let me put it to you that way. Let's go with that, because either way, it's abuse.
Okay.
And she's rushed out.
I like how we just spent 10 minutes arguing about.
You know what? That's the way it works on here. So then we see Dog, and Dog is being dog to Rose. And Logan sees, and so essentially James tells his father, and then James's father, man, this is confusing as hell, but I'm going to go with this. Logan's father tells Logan, James' actual father, to back off. All right,
call the father Howlett. Just call the father Howlett.
Okay, Howlett tells Logan to, like, control your son, essentially. And they're
having a father-to-father conversation.
Yeah, they're having in more ways than one.
I swear, like, I would love to do a fan, like, control your sons.
Yeah, exactly. So then Dog shows up and wants to like attack Logan because it's more like you shouldn't have ratted me out to my father. And then James's dog attacks Dog. Man, this is really confusing. And Dog kills the dog.
Where's John Wick when you need him?
Yeah, well, like this way, in a couple of years, James is going to turn into John Wick. And so essentially, Logan is fired. And so here's the thing. He gets drunk. He shows up. And okay, so here's the moment. Hang on a second. This moment's coming where I'm like, if he was... So Logan shows up and he's going to go kidnap the wife, essentially. And this is where they pretty much confirm that at least Logan and James's James's mother had an affair. So there you go. This is pretty much confirming that at least...
Where's the confirmation?
Well, because it brings up... Again, I'm taking you with me tonight. Hang on. Let me go through this. I
need you tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not with you. Oh, I am so like threading that line of copyright.
I know. It's no different. But anyway, so James shows up and sees Dog shoot Howlett in the face. And then he
and we saw this moment. See, the problem with X-Men Origins is the first 5 minutes they actually do adapt it.
First 10 minutes are amazing. What with all the wars and stuff?
Or I just say the first 5 minutes where they're still doing, literally still doing this. But after that, they kind of they thread back a little bit. We'll get to like the logging stuff, but it's a very loose adaptation.
So now here's the moment where I'm like, he hits him, he knocks him away, and I'm gonna tell you this right now: if he had claws, he would have popped them here.
What I find funny is if you look at with Logan, the way they frame it, it's like he's almost about to pop him too. Like this page right here. The way the framing is going, it's like he's just about to pop the claws.
Yeah, but I'm like, again, if he had powers or he was gonna pop his claws, why didn't he do it?
I have no answer for that, sir.
Exactly. There you go. Because you can't tell me his powers didn't manifest here, because we know according to mutant rules, they manifest when you are an adolescent. And as far as I know, Logan is much older than an adolescent.
Man, puberty's really hard on a mutant.
I know, right? Can you imagine if you're Beak, the mutant who all he does is he turns into a Birdman?
Can you imagine being the mutant that poops ice cream?
Can you imagine being the mutant who his power is he can explode, but he can only do it once?
Ooh.
Or just imagine being Jubilee and having to prove that you're useful. And then he pops his bone claws for the first time. There you go.
James does.
Yeah, James does. Yeah,
and
not Logan because he's dead and not a mutant.
Go back to that last page of issue 2.
Hang on.
I just want to like highlight that.
Give me 1 second.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, this is a really great story, really compelling art. It's a bit slow.
It is very slow.
Bit of a slow burn.
Here's the page.
Oh god, can you zoom in on this if you can? I love it. It's like straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, Andy Kubert just sells this moment so well.
I mean, he's a Kubert. That kind of goes with the territory of being a Kubert.
Yeah, family business.
So then we get to issue 3. And then from this, I gotta be honest, the book really slows down.
This art is great, by the way, though.
The art is great, but my problem with this story is, in my mind, it's not paced the best because they spend way too much time on boring stuff.
See, in my opinion, the book should have just been those 2 issues.
Yeah.
Maybe because anything that happened after the Bone Claws, it's a lot of stuff that it's how he actually becomes the loner. I get it, but there's a lot of stuff here that.
Well, they could even made it where he's the loner because he ran away from home after doing this.
In my opinion, I just want to release this as honestly a graphic novel where each issue is maybe make them double issue, make the second issue kind of like an issue and a half or a double issue kind of thing, because it's just
they did a storyline. They did a storyline called for Spider-Man called actually I forget the name of the story, but basically it was each issue is a decade in Spider-Man's life, and they're a decade apart. They could have done that with Wolverine and just pick the time, start here, and then maybe we see him in the Civil. Do what X-Men Origins did. I can't believe I'm saying X-Men Origins did something right.
That
would have been cool. You could see.
I mean, honestly, this could have been honestly, if I would have done it, I would have had this be a 12-part miniseries, basically leading right up until right up until he faces the Hulk. Go through this stuff, go through his pre-war times, do maybe 2 or 3 issues as a Howling Commando. That's actually one of my favorite parts of Wolverine's lore is he was a Howling Commando. He worked with Captain America.
Yeah, he couldn't be in Captain America because Marvel didn't own the rights.
But imagine, okay, this is fan fiction time. Imagine they did own the rights, and Hugh Jackman was in Captain America: The First Avenger.
Or also they did X-Men Origins Wolverine, and in the beach landing scene, as they're charging the machine guns, also you see Captain America.
Oh, God, yes.
Because they could do that. And it's not only that. You also would have, the Human Torch, and Namor, and a younger Nick Fury.
Oh, God, imagine, the... I think it was the All-Winner Squad, basically Marvel's
Squadron.
Yeah, I think that was Marvel's Teen Titans back in the 40s. Oh god, just imagine the stuff that okay, that's actually an idea for an episode, either mine or yours, of what could have been with integrated. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. But anyway, so he runs away, and the thing about this that's kind of nice is Rose basically protects him in this whole book. And it's kind of funny now that I think about it. This is probably where Logan's God dang it. Can I call him Logan now?
Fine. This
is where Logan's affinity for redhead started. This is getting really confusing.
I mean, look at that middle panel with Rose. If you can zoom in on that one. It almost has kind of a savior kind of thing to it. Look at the way she's framed.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying? So what you're telling me is that she's Marvel Jesus?
Well, she's certainly helping James rise from the ashes.
Mm-hmm. Almost like a Phoenix.
Don't press the issue, Jared.
It's almost like she'll have a saga one day.
Jared, do not press the Phoenix issue.
Oh, come on, Nick. Come on. Don't.
Jared!
Nick, we know this is a moral gray area.
I do not want to see Phoenix's press so badly.
As she wears some nice jeans.
You're deliberately ignoring my puns.
Yes, I am. I am ignoring your puns. There you go. But my point is...
No. Go back to the page.
Yes, there you go. With the leaves.
Oh, God. That is... just the composition of this is masterful. Oh, God. I love this. Sorry. I would have that as a poster.
That could be one.
That is wall-worthy.
And as we see his claws, I don't think he knows how to put them back in yet. So they're just sticking out. So they're like little daggers. And
I'm sorry, it doesn't always happen like this.
It happens to 1 in 5 Wolverines. I love how they made that joke in Deadpool 3. I love that.
Oh, yeah, you were very vindicated. Oh, whiskey claws.
Yeah, jeez. So again, so they leave, and this is where they go to the logging place, and Again, this is where the book really gets really decompressed.
No, wait, go back. Does it seem like the grandfather actually helps him out or something?
Yeah, he gives them money to. He basically says, "I don't want to see you anymore." He gives them cash and basically says, "Go on the train and leave."
Yeah, I think he's just happy to rid himself of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, it's like this is where the story like really, in my mind, kind of falls apart because here's the problem. Well, to our point, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, like you have this interpersonal. So like that's what I'm saying. This could have been an issue and a half because the first half of issue 3, a lot of it is fine. But like,
actually,
in my
I
opinion,
got an idea.
The first 3 issues would have been like a hard origin, and then it would have started jumping around. Like basically do it in eras.
Allow me to pitch this. Can I? I have a great idea.
Okay.
So it's this length. Now, here's what happens. Issues 1, we don't do the pop clause until the very end. Because what happens is we move the timeline up a little bit because this takes place around the time of the Civil War. Logan goes to war and he survives stuff that he really shouldn't. So people start to think, that guy's kind of odd.
Don't you people ever die?
Well, yeah, and to his point, it's like in X-Men Origins. He gets shot, he gets like hit by a cannonball, and he's fine. So they're like, what? So he goes home and finds this family turmoil with like Rose and like the family and everything like that. The day happens. At the very end, he pops his claws. So for like 2 or 3 issues, let's say, it's like a Wolverine in the Civil War surviving stuff he shouldn't be able to, and all the other soldiers going, what the hell is going on here? And then the last issue is essentially issue 2 of this with the pop clause moment.
That might work. It would require a little workshopping, but I could see it working.
I mean, obviously, you'd have to move the timeline up a little bit because I think this takes place in the 1700s and not the 1800s. But my point
I think it's like 1840s. It's like pre-Civil War.
So you could you make
also in Canada? You also got to realize that too.
That's true. Dang. The point is
they're not just rich people in America. The rich people in Canada, which
except Wolverine is the most impolite Canadian ever.
You haven't met very many Canadians, have you?
No. So then
I lived to the border.
Okay.
I dated a Canadian.
I'm gonna say this. I freaking love this cover with the wolf's head. As much as I don't like this part, this story-wise in the book, this is awesome. Because it's like the animal side, this kind of makes you wonder, was Wolverine inspired by a wolf when the whole mask thing came about?
Uh...
And then, by the way, Nick, I want to add on to mine. You could then jump forward, like, obviously, time. Wolverine is in a locker room putting on his gear. And they say, all right, Logan, we have a situation for you. There's a big green monster attacking Canada. So this whole thing was him reflecting before he puts on the costume. And the last shot is him cross-clawed.
No, and he puts on the John Byrne suit.
Yeah, he puts in the exactly. But the first shot is the cross-claw thing. Was the
No, he does. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the last shot. And then, actually, no, the last panel is just a black panel. All you hear is snicked. See, that's how I would do a Wolverine comic right there.
Oh, yes.
Because here's the thing. According to House of M, he remembers his origin now. So it could just take place around that time period. Or with Marvel, they really don't care. The timeline is screwy. So really, I could do whatever the hell I
even
wanted.
in the Fox universe, I'm assuming by the time of Logan, he remembers his past because remember in Logan, he goes like, okay, I just got to say, this is a tangent. One of my favorite things about Logan is his alias is the Howlet. So he's using his real name as his alias.
All right. You know what? I'm going to make an executive decision. This week on Movie Night is Logan.
Okay. I mean, we haven't talked about the Wolverine yet, but okay.
I wanted... We could do the Wolverine, but I kind of want to do Logan.
It's your show. Do what you want. I'll be there either way.
I'll tell you what. We got another week. We'll do Wolverine the week after. We'll make this the month of Wolverine.
I mean, a bit out of order, but okay.
It doesn't matter. Like I say, Marvel doesn't care, so why should we? So anyway, continuing on.
Time travel.
Yeah, I see this absolute win. So then we have this, again, this stunning cover. It looks like a photograph.
Look at this photo.
Photograph. Yeah, exactly. So
Jack Kroger, another Canadian icon.
again, we see the loggers, and this is the logger part. Only in the movie, it's much more condensed, and he's younger in this, and he's not sleeping with Rose.
Also, yeah, because the Shiro, she's kind of an amalgamation character. Because I think he actually did date a woman like that in the comics.
All right,
but the woman is very clearly
show.
meant to be Rose.
I got something to show. So I went to my local comic book store on my usual trips, and I picked up something, not knowing what this was. All right, so let me show you this. So I got this Wolverine comic called Wolverine Sabretooth. This shows him dating Silver Fox, the girl in the movie, and Sabretooth killing her. That's where they took that element from.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so
I mean, also, spoiler alert for Origins, they didn't actually kill her.
In this, they did. And then Wolverine, for some reason, starts a relationship with Sabretooth's daughter or something like that. I still have to read the book, but I was just flipping through it. I'm like,
I mean, when you're immortal, people get old and die. So
yeah, and I'm like, Wolverine, just take Jean away from Scott, and then he can be with Emma. Everyone's happy.
Okay, I while we're talking about the sequence, one of my favorite lines in X-Men Origins Wolverine is when Stryker's talking to Wolverine. It's like, where's your sense of American pride? It's like, I'm Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So again, so Wolverine is working the mines and stuff. So I'm just gonna go with this.
He yearns for the mines.
He yearns for the mines, exactly. And basically, they make themselves useful around there to be able to stay. And Wolverine is picked on by the cook, and then he's stood up for by Smithy, who will be important later. And by the way, again, Wolverine is creep. Which panel? Which panel?
All of them. I want to see it one by one. And now it's time for us to be creepy.
For research purposes.
I hear this comic has really great dialogue.
Yeah, we're watching this for the dialogue.
This comic for the awesome dialogue, everybody.
Yeah, hello, is someone there? Really riveting stuff.
Yeah, riveting something, yeah.
Yeah, but the point is, Wolverine is like, the smile!
Oh, God.
Oh, no! That's where his creepiness came from. And he's just standing there. You know, it's kind of funny. I bet you this was this is the Wolverine mating call. He just has a spear on his back. He brings dinner. He's shirtless in jeans.
I mean, if you want to go by caveman logic, that is the ideal male right
here.
You
are my woman now. You are my woman now. I have claimed you, and I have now marked you with the blood of a deer.
You now bear my scent to the... Oh, God, this episode has gone so off the rails.
But I love it. I love it. Now, to be clear, overall, I like this book as a story. I just think it could have been told in 2 issues, like our point. But a lot of these character stuff I like, because what you're seeing here is the subtext of this next portion is Wolverine is in love with Rose. Clearly is.
And for an extent, Rose is in love with Wolverine. But Wolverine does what a lot of awkward guys do and never actually seal the deal.
Is it kind of funny how he does that with Jean as well?
Well, to be fair, Jean has a bad habit of dying every 5 minutes. So
you know what's hilarious? There was this great. This is the one time I'm going to praise Joss Whedon. In the first volume of his X-Men run, there was a scene where Scott and Emma are together, and they're sleeping together. Wolverine's there at the window going, so wait a sec, you want to tell me about loyalty, but you're sleeping around? And then he goes, 1, my wife's dead, and 2, this is rich coming from the guy that has tried to sleep with my wife since he first met her. I just love that moment.
No, my favorite line is it's during Civil War, and Wolverine is at the the X Mansion or whatever. He's talking to Scott and Emma, and he's like, I could make you forget your potty training or whatever. And then Wolverine said, Jean would be rolling in her grave if she'd see the state of the school. That is, if she stayed in it for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
I love how they're acknowledging it. Does that make Jean Grey the Kenny of the X-Men universe?
She kind of is.
Oh my god!
You know, it's kind of funny. In a way, Jean Grey is the Superman of the Marvel universe because she can't stop dying.
Wait, so you're saying Jean Grey is written by Dan Jurgens?
Yes. If Dan Jurgens
I love how
wrote,
even when we're Marvel, we couldn't help ourselves.
If Dan Jurgens wrote Jean Grey, here's what would happen: she would die, and then we'd get a year's worth of comics.
Show up for some reason.
Well, no, actually, he would invent some weird doomsday creature. Except it'd be Dooms without an E. And then what would happen is then 4 Jean Greys would show up. One's the teenage Jean Grey. One's Jean Grey, but with cool sunglasses. One is like a cyborg, and one is just a normal girl in a suit.
Wait! I had to do this. The death of Jean Grey. The world without Jean Grey. The return of Jean Grey.
Reign of the Jean Greys.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And then Jean shows up in a Black Phoenix costume.
I kind of want to commission an artist to do like parody covers.
Okay, you know what? This has to be an episode where we just like take Jean Grey and turn her into the death of Superman. And if she were written by John Byrne, she would be making out with minors every 20 seconds.
And now I want to like recreate that famous cover where Lois Lane is holding Superman as he's dying.
It's Wolverine, because I don't want and then Scott's over there with Emma.
No. Jean Grey is dying and Wolverine's holding her or whatever.
Yeah, you definitely need that. Actually, you know what's kind of funny? That they kind of did a moment like that pretty well in X-Men 3 after he kills Jean. He's like screaming.
Oh, I have to do that. I have to do this. Just like a Girl Scout, I always come prepared.
All right. So, but yeah, that's my point. And then you would get like a year's worth of comics. Then all of a sudden, like, someone said he would be annihilated, and like one of the other Avengers would turn evil. Like maybe Asgard would be destroyed, and Thor would become a parallax-like entity because he'd be influenced by fear. We're basically turning Marvel into DC. Know what this is? This is the Heroes Reborn universe where like the Justice League, where like the Squadron Supreme took over. This is how I get my Squadron Supreme book.
Okay. We need to do an episode where we just do pure fan fiction, where we put Marvel characters in the DC universe.
By the way, so fun fact, in that Heroes Reborn book, so they do like the death of Superman, but it's the death of Hyperion, and Wolverine kills him with like magic claws. And then Hyperion comes back. You know how they kill Wolverine? They pick him up and put him on the moon.
Oh, okay.
Not the side of the moon that has oxygen. Because they're like, okay, we're done.
Sides?
We're like, regenerate from that. I love that moment. Oh, I love Power Prince. And she's like, you've killed my beloved. Now I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, that would be me if I wrote Wonder Woman. So continuing on, this episode is tangentially as hell, but I love it.
We are such nerds. Like, I love how we can't even, like, we're trying to branch out here and do Marvel, because obviously ComixWatch is very heavily DC focused, which is fine. And I'm trying to branch out here and do Marvel. And you're even wearing a Superman shirt to a Marvel shirt. What the frick, sir?
I have an Aquaman shrine in the background. I just realized that.
Oh my god.
Because to be clear, I'm more of a DC fan, but this is just so good.
I mean, I'm the same. Okay, everyone, if you made it this far, please, for the love of God, please
comment, subscribe for the tangents alone.
Yes. If you made it this far, please, for the love of God, give us a like. We really need it.
All right.
But anyway, getting back to this.
Yeah. So again, it's so Smithy looks out for Logan, and I think he became like a surrogate father for Logan during this time period in his life, during this very long period. Then Logan runs away and he gets adopted by a wolf pack.
See, the problem with Logan is he's too busy playing dances with wolves in order to seal the deal with his girl.
Yeah, and can I say one thing? Our first snicked.
Oh,
That's the moment. And he's got bone claws. Now, let me ask.
bone claws.
He's ready.
Oh God, I love the panels.
Oh!
The panel.
I love the image of the wolf has Wolverine in his eyes, but Wolverine has the wolf in his eye. That is so cool.
I love how they have them scoring up, and they show that, and then they show the eyes. Oh God, this panel is just art.
This reminds me of that movie. Did you ever see the movie The Gray with Liam Neeson?
The one where he fights the wolf.
Where he fights the wolf, exactly. He breaks a bunch of bottles and makes basically a Wolverine claw, and then charges at the wolf. I'm like, wait a second. Liam Neeson was secretly Wolverine the whole time.
Can you imagine if they had made an X-Men movie in the 80s and Liam Neeson was Wolverine?
I could kind of see that. I could also see Liam Neeson playing Professor Xavier. He has that grandpa like voice.
Actually, he could be Magneto, and then
yes. Oh gosh, yes.
Actually, MCU, can you please cast Liam Neeson as Magneto?
They'll probably go with someone younger, but still,
I get it.
I'm agreeing with you. So,
but even now, Liam Neeson would make a good Magneto.
So essentially, this issue ends with Logan being adopted by a wolf pack. Who knew? Okay, it's loading.
All right, so let's kind of speed run some stuff.
I'm just gonna go through it because ultimately, at this point, okay. So you know what?
There's only really one more point. Well, there's only really one more.
By the way,
first,
can we appreciate this panel, please?
Yeah, because just so you know, we were gonna do this last week, but I had internet issues, and I think we even commented on this exact panel last week. So.
Yeah, we gotta. That is so cool. Wolverine running with wolves.
Yes, I would hang that on my mantle. Like, oh, okay, Jared, imagine you bring a girl home and you take her to the bedroom and this is hanging above the bed.
And she goes, I love that comic too. I actually have it signed by Paul Jenkins. And then you're like, okay, will you marry me?
Well, no. First, get on the bed. I'll show you just how much of an animal I really am. That is the most PG way I could have said.
We're going to cosplay Wolverine and Jean Grey right now.
Wig stays on during blank.
It's better that way. Yes.
Oh, God.
We just went full back, and you go, I'm the goddamn Wolverine. So. Okay.
I love. Oh, wait. No, go back one page. Those lips are beautiful.
Yeah. So, okay, so then we get Wolverine. So basically, what we see here is that because Wolverine dragged his feet, Smithy made the moves on Rose, and now she's gonna go away with Smithy. All right, I actually, you know what? I'm gonna skip to the very end because I think at that point that's it. Because there's not that much. A lot of this is filler. The other thing is
no. Oh wait, like this panel is really important.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We find out Dog is alive.
Also, check private chat.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but anyway, so but the point is here is that Dog is alive.
He's a bounty hunter. Now he's a bounty hunter.
Sabretooth is alive.
Mm-hmm.
So then we finally get to the end of this. And again, this thing just went for too long in the logging place.
Yeah, this could have been like a 4-issue miniseries easy.
Look at Wolverine with the pelts. That is so cool. Actually, no, that's Dog. Oh, I got confused because they're both mountain men.
Yeah, this could have been a 4-issue miniseries very easily.
4-issue, I think, is the most that they should have gone for this, but 6 issues where they really stretch it out. So the point is with this, Wolverine becomes a cage fighter for money.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, and then what you don't know is that before Wolverine's opponent entered the ring, the announcer went, "Whatever you do, don't hit him in the balls. He'll take it personally."
I have a conspiracy theory. I have a feeling this is meant to be an ongoing, and they kind of canned it after 6 issues. Like, oh, the thing happens. All right, fine, we'll just end it there. Because remember, All-Star Batman and Robin was meant to be an ongoing. Like that thing was never finished. Yeah,
that crazy train. So he fights and he wins. And then he fights Smithy, and then he beats the crap out of. Actually, no, Wolverine lets Smithy win because he doesn't want like Rose to like hate him. And then Dog shows up and fights Wolverine. Now here's the moment where I go, I'm gonna call BS on that. Wolverine goes to kill Sabretooth. I'm gonna call him Sabretooth. And for some reason, he stabs Rose in the shoulder and she dies.
Yeah, we touched upon this in the failed recording. I'm sorry. Like, okay, I get that. Like, let me kind of
Blood loss, maybe.
Like, so she hits him essentially right here. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there's not there's no internal organs in this area. I think maybe like an artery or two. I'm not really a medicine person, but it's
there's
like right
not
here.
enough blood for that to be an artery. I mean, maybe there is, but the point
But
is,
she's not dying instantly, and the thing is, the only way for her to die is basically blood loss if she was just left on that floor for hours on end. And I'm sorry, even by late 1800s, they would have known to stop the bleeding. Like, there would have been enough common knowledge to be like, okay, staunch the wound. There's got to be some sort of doctor nearby who can clean the wound. Like, but what I'm saying is, there is no situation where she dies instantly.
Now,
like,
here's the way I would do this.
It's going to be hours or days later.
Here's the way I would do this. Here's how you do the loner part of Wolverine. He packs up and he leaves a letter saying, Rose, I'm better off being alone. I hurt you and I never want to hurt you. So he leaves and becomes a loner. That's how they could have salvaged this and not killed her.
That's fair, but also, why would she run to protect Dog? You know, I'm sorry. I get the childhood stuff, but I don't think she would run to protect, like...
I don't think she wanted him... No, you know what it is? She didn't want him to, like, kill and turn into a monster. But still, it's Dog, and Dog is like being a total a-hole and attacking people. So I think at this point, yeah, pop them claws. By the way, can I say with the art, you can actually see the skin tearing when the claws come out. Look at that.
Also, is it too much to have him have the claws go in like at least 3 inches lower? Because if you go in 3 inches lower, then you're hitting heart. Then you're hitting like heart valve, like not necessarily you're on top of the heart. Because let me highlight myself again. So hit them right here. If you go down like 3 inches, this is the heart area right here, like kind of the top of the heart.
At least go lower.
Like literally, like 3 inches downwards. You're hitting the heart, and then like you're not kind of hitting the heart directly, but you're hitting a lot of the valve stems, and then that I could see being very lethal.
Yeah, but right there, it's too high.
It's mostly muscle. It's mostly muscle in this area.
You can make it. You can make it
cartilage. There's really not much. Like this is a flesh wound.
You could make it where if you really wanted to have like an enduring injury, make it so she has trouble using that arm from now on. Let's just go with that.
Like, okay, yeah, exactly. Like the most is like if you're a pitcher and you get hit here, yeah, your career is done. Okay, but it's a flesh wound. It is like a very survivable wound. Getting hit right there, getting like your claws, because it's just muscle, cartilage, and blood. You know, if you're an athlete like a pitcher, okay, yeah, your career's done. But I don't know.
Or like make it where we can make it where he tries to like stay with her, but the more every time he looks at her and sees her struggle with her arm, he's reminded about how he hurt her, and he's like, I don't want to do that anymore, so he leaves.
Like, yeah, I could see her. Like, even I could even go far as say like that arm is limp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean that would be a bit of a stretch, but it's believable at least.
Because maybe he like cut all the tendons that like move the arm or so, or contribute to that. But the point is, like, this isn't an instant kill.
It is in no way an instant kill. In no scenario is it an instant kill. If she dies, it would either by blood loss, infection. It's hours or days later. But in my opinion, even in this isolated community, there's got to be a doctor somewhere.
There's got to be someone that knows to stop the bleeding. I guarantee you they've had people bleeding in a mine before.
Yeah, probably realistically what would happen. And this is a cage fight where they know something's going to happen. So
actually, no, it's outside the cage fight. They're outside in the front porch.
But still, someone just takes off their shirt, puts it on the wound, and then they get the doctor. The doctor will arrive. Even if it's an hour later, she'll still be alive. The doctor come, clean up the wound, bandage it or whatever, and maybe put her in a sling or something. And there's really not more than they do with that, but
now,
she'll
if
live.
you want to say she dies from infection, that's one thing.
But that's going to be days later.
That's going to be days, though. I know it's not. This
Arguably
isn't an
weeks.
insta-kill.
Like, this could be even weeks later. She died of the infection.
So Logan,
And you want to know the worst thing would happen with the infection?
what?
She'd probably just lose her arm.
Yeah, probably.
Because amputation was the name of the day in that era. And so if that part got infected, they would have just like cut off her arm.
Yeah. So then Logan runs away again, and then we see the cook playing. So essentially, the entire story, the narration was Rose writing in her journal, and then he just throws it into the fire, and then that's end.
Yeah, I mean they do telegraph it a lot with like the caption pages being more like scrap pages.
But again, see, the problem with this book is that it takes too long to get to the point. Because the point is Wolverine becomes a loner. Now, let me be clear. Is the story still fun? Is it still a well-written story? Yes, 110%.
So what would you give it? What would you give it, sir?
The story itself, I would give probably...
The book overall.
Overall, I would probably give it a solid 8 out of 10. Because I still enjoy it very much. The art is superb. And the stuff he put in there... in other words, even though it's too long or it drags on, the stuff that it drags on with, I like. It's not like it's all boring stuff. It's just for the purpose of the story, I wanted to get to the point.
Yeah, for me, I'd give it a 9. For the tremendous art, like when the story is good, it's really, really freaking good. And even when it drags, it's drags, but we've read worse. We have read worse.
Yes, we have. We read All-Star Batman and Robin. Now, may I say, there is technically a sequel to this.
Really?
Here's why. When they did the recent Wolverine Predator book, they kept it very ambiguous if it was in continuity or not.
Okay.
And what's kind of funny about the plot of that, I'll give you a little teaser, is that there's one Predator that's been hunting Logan his entire, pretty much his entire life.
Oh god, I could totally see that too.
Yeah, it's so badass. There's a part where he fights. So the Wolverine. So they even factor in the Weapon X era. Like the Predator shows up as Wolverine's on the table in the Weapon X program, and like pours the acid on him, and essentially brings the skeleton to his ship as a trophy. He's taken off. The skin grows back on the skeleton, and Wolverine obviously survives, cuts his way out, and lands. The Predator shows up at the X Mansion, and Wolverine kills it.
Oh, God. I need to read this.
But they keep it so ambiguous that, you know what? What's kind of funny? Because Marvel has the Predator license, this can be in continuity. I mean, they're currently doing a book called Avengers vs. Aliens. Any of these could be in continuity now.
Oh, God.
Which, when you think about it, Wolverine versus and what's kind of funny with the Wolverine versus Predator? They recreated the Hulk thing where you see like the Hulk on the blades, but with the Predator. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull that up so I can show you. I think you'll enjoy that, and then
I want to see Punisher versus Predator.
Yes.
Imagine Punisher versus Predator in New York.
How about Captain America versus the Predator
in World War II?
In World War II. It would have to be in World War II. All right. So here's the... Actually, no. I was a little incorrect. It's not
the Punisher versus Predator would be so good.
It's not the Wolverine that has the Predator on his claws. It's the Predator that has Wolverine on his claws.
Oh, God. I have to see this. Okay, that's really cool.
I know, right?
That is really cool.
And here's the images. Look at he's in the bird suit. They have him in all the different suits.
Oh God, yes.
Look at that. That's a new book. Isn't that freaking dope? Oh, they also did one with Wolverine on the Predator on the claws. That's where I got that image from.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and look, see here he is. He finds him in the Weapon X thing, and then it turns out the helmet of the Predator gets misplaced. And remember the helmet that Wolverine wears in the Weapon X program? In this story, it's based off of Predator technology.
Oh God.
This is the coolest thing ever. And then what they discover, so they even bring in when Wolverine was like with Team X and Alpha Flight, they show up in like some like woods, and all of a sudden they're beset by predators.
The best part is, because the Marvel Universe is intergalactic, they could just have the aliens and the predators exist in the Marvel Universe.
It is bloody. Look at this.
Oh.
Yeah, they do now, by the way, to your point, because they own the comic book license, by the way. Check that out.
Okay. There's two stories I want to see. Kraven versus Predator.
Yes. Hunter versus Hunter.
Also, Kraven versus Aliens.
That can work. But I've long said...
But Kraven versus Predator is yes.
You know what I've long said would
work? No. Kraven gets inducted into a Predator clan.
Yes. You know what I've always said would be a fantastic crossover, and I realize that we're way off topic, but we're done with the book. Wonder Woman fights a Predator. Like the Predator lands on Themyscira. She hears about because Themyscira is a big jungle. She hears about like her sisters are vanishing. She lands and finds like her sisters strung up and skinned, and then we can have it where like maybe we can retcon part of her history that this is before the gods gave her powers. So she's just fighting a predator with a sword and the shield. Then we retcon it where like somewhere on her body is the predator mark. Like, you know how she always has that little arm bangle thing here? That's hiding the predator mark. Like she was actually blooded by the predators. That's how I would run things if I were Marvel. Also in this, so the predator starts hunting like animals throughout, and then he like hunts and kills an orca.
Really?
Yeah. It's dude. This is the most wicked. Here's the thing. You know how like when you imagine a crossover, how cool it could be, and the actual crossover does not live up to the hype? No, this lives up to the hype.
All right. We are going way.
We have to cover that. By the way, the next one is Black Panther versus Predator. I could see that. That works.
Yeah, definitely.
No, so, but dude, we have to cover this at one point.
At some point, yes, for sure. So thank you everyone for joining us. What did you guys think of Origins of Wolverine? Do you think we went way off topic way too many times? Let us know in the comments below. This has been Nick and Jared from ComixWatch, and remember, I can only show you the door. You're the ones to walk through it.